What's up? Money in the Bank 2015 is in the books. I gotta say it wasn't a bad pay-per-view, although it was definitely a two-match show. I apologize for not coming up earlier in the week and doing a prediction video like I said I would, but to be honest with you, I've had a very, very busy week and I just couldn't keep up with this. We just had our last pay-per-view 2 weeks ago, and like I've said in previous commentaries throughout the duration of the summer, I'm going to have some stretches where I'm extremely busy, and I just wasn't able to come up and do a predictions video, but I kind of wish that I would, because there was a couple of things that I predicted in my own mind that I never told any of you that actually happened tonight. And basically what I'm going to do here is just go through these match by match and give my opinions about each one. Money in the Bank, first and foremost, was completely dedicated to the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, who just passed away a few days ago. I'm still very, very saddened and very, very shocked by it. I did put up a small little piece where I just reacted to his death and talked about his career a little bit. You can click the screen if you want to take a look at that if you haven't seen it already. The pre-show, I gotta say, was very emotional. I think the saddest part of the whole show, above anything else, above the 10-bell salute, above the beautiful video package tribute that they did to Dusty Rhodes, I think the saddest part of the whole show was right after they played the video package on the pre-show, you hear Renee Young. She's not even on camera. You just hear her voice, and she is uncontrollably sobbing. And to me, that was emotion as pure as it gets, and it got to me, because you think about it, Dusty was in NXT. He's been surrounded by the next generation of stars, and they were all devastated by this. And Renee was an NXT girl, probably worked very close with Dusty, as did a lot of people on the WWE roster. I mean, this is just a heartbreaking loss for professional wrestling. Do you realize in the last 3 years, we've lost Macho Man, the Ultimate Warrior, and Dusty Rhodes, among others, but those are three huge names in this business that we've lost in a very, very short amount of time. It seems like us poor wrestling fans are dealt devastating blow after devastating blow. It's so fucking unfair and so incredibly sad that we lost the American Dream. So tonight was about him. I think a lot of the wrestlers went out there and gave it their all for the memory of the American Dream. Now, as far as the pay-per-view itself goes, we did have a pre-show match. It was R-Truth versus Wade Barrett, which I missed because I was still driving home, and I just missed the whole match. But I saw that R-Truth won, and that's pretty surprising. What was the point of, giving King Barrett or giving Wade Barrett the King of the Ring? He hasn't done shit since. As a matter of fact, he's lost most of his matches since he's won that thing. So that just shows you what a pointless pay-per-view or pointless WWE Network special that was. So let's get into the meat and potatoes here of Money in the Bank. The Money in the Bank ladder match started off the show. Surprised me at first until I remembered that the main event was a ladder match. That just goes to show you how uninformed I've been in the past couple of weeks. I did not even see last Monday Night's Raw. All I did was watch the fucking highlight package on WWE's YouTube channel. That's all I saw of Raw. So even though I knew the main event was a ladder match, I had kind of forgotten it. So when I saw the Money in the Bank match kicking off the show, I'm like, holy shit, they're not wasting any time. But really, you don't want to have two ladder matches right back-to-back in a row, especially if the Money in the Bank match is awesome. You don't want to have to worry about Rollins and Ambrose trying to follow that. So separate them, spread them way out. Smart thing to do there. They opened up the show with the Money in the Bank. We all had Roman Reigns going in. Fans were even bitching before the pay-per-view. It reminded me of last year how everybody was flipping out. Oh, John Cena got added to the match, and of course he's going to win, and blah, 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 blah. They were so fucking pissed, and they wanted to see Roman Reigns win. You guys all remember that. I came up and did a big commentary. I even remember what I titled it. It was entitled, "You Will Not Die If John Cena Wins the Money in the Bank." And my point of that video was just let him fucking win that title and just relax, because he's going to get his ass kicked by Brock in 2 months. That's exactly what happened. So I thought this time, with Roman Reigns, at least WWE, they pumped the brakes on him a little bit with WrestleMania when we all expected him to win. And WWE recognized that. And to their credit, they had Rollins come out and that beautiful finish of WrestleMania, cash in the Money in the Bank, swerve us all, amazing moment. Heel surprising us like that to close out the show. Not something that you see every year at WrestleMania, and very, very cool. So now if they waited a little bit and gave the briefcase to Roman Reigns, I personally, and a lot of you too from what I heard, would really not have that much of a problem with it, because he could hold on to that briefcase for a long time, and it could conceivably be maybe even a whole nother year before he cashes it in, which means a whole nother year that he's not going to be world champion. They're going to wait until they feel they're ready, or the fans are ready, or whatever. And so tonight, I thought for sure, when you looked at the participants in the match, other than Ziggler, who I would love to have seen win, because Ziggler is awesome. We all love him. I'd have no problem at all if he won the briefcase. But as far as the rest of them goes, we don't want to see Orton again. We've already been through that. Sheamus, who fucking cares? Kofi would have been the best choice because that would have been Swerve Central, and that would have been the most hilarious thing ever. And with his upcoming match with Brock Lesnar, it did get you thinking for a minute that maybe, just for shits and gigs, the WWE could have Kofi win it and just have an entertaining guy, hold on to the briefcase and cash in unsuccessfully. And in a move that I don't think any of us picked, Sheamus came out on top of this thing. And in another wonderful move that I honestly was very happy to see, right when Roman Reigns is about to grab the briefcase, of course, the lights go out, and out comes Bray Wyatt, standing right under the ladder, pushes Roman Reigns over, nails him with Sister Abigail, allowing Sheamus to scurry up the ladder and grab the briefcase and win the match, which means we've all been wondering what the fuck is WWE doing with Bray Wyatt. He had a one-off with Ryback, that's done. He hasn't done shit on TV really since then. And if he has, it's been pretty meaningless, and he wasn't even booked for this pay-per-view. So for him to show up after we've all been kind of worried about him as to the, status of his character, is WWE stopping doing things with him or whatever? No, hell no. He's coming out and feuding with Roman Reigns, one of WWE's top guys. Don't forget, Bray just worked with Taker 2-3 months ago, okay? So this guy's not dead in the water yet, and now he's working with Roman Reigns, which is, for us, a double whammy. Number one, it gives Bray Wyatt something significant to do, and number two, it keeps Roman Reigns away from the world title, which everybody seems to be fucking obsessed with. And you know what else I like about this feud? Even though these guys have faced each other before, if they're going to work a program, a 2-3 pay-per-view program, what this can do is bring out some emotion that we all need to see in Roman Reigns. Having an opponent like Bray Wyatt and the crazy-ass promos that he cuts and shit like that, he can do some spooky things to Roman Reigns, just maybe show a different dimension of Roman Reigns' character. I think some of the promos leading up to their matches together could be career-defining moments for Roman Reigns if they go well. And to me, this is the exact type of feud that a guy like Roman Reigns, who is suffering in the eyes of the wrestling fans right now because they hate that he's pushed and they smell a John Cena 2.0, I think you got to give the WWE a little bit of credit for pulling back on WrestleMania and then doing it again with Money in the Bank, because here we thought he was a shoo-in to grab the briefcase. He made the only logical sense there. To me, there was nobody else that should win the match because the storyline fits after what happened to him at WrestleMania, losing basically the WWE title after he almost had it won because of somebody cashing in the briefcase. And of all people, it's his nemesis, Seth Rollins. If he was to get the briefcase and then turn it around on him and cash in at Mania or SummerSlam or Survivor Series or something like that. So I would have been fine either way. I'm fine with what they did because, hey, anytime I'm surprised, I'm happy. I'm not really thrilled with the choice of Sheamus. I do like his new heel character. I think he looks a lot better and is a lot better than he was as a babyface. But still, there's something about Sheamus to me, nothing against him personally. I actually think he's a good, hard, stiff worker, who has good matches and, and is capable. But there's just something about him that I don't know. I don't know if I want to see him world champion. And him of all people, most Money in the Bank winners cash in successfully. Is Sheamus, do you think he would be another guy to unsuccessfully cash it in? Or is Triple H, he's always had a thing for Sheamus and he's always wanted to push him. Maybe they're giving him a chance to run as a heel with the WWE title. But where does that leave Brock Lesnar? Where does that leave Roman Reigns when he's done with Bray Wyatt? And how long does Sheamus hold on to the Money in the Bank? I think this time it's nice to rotate it, possibly. Seth Rollins held it for a long time, all the way until WrestleMania. So maybe this time around, you have Sheamus hold the briefcase for just a small amount of time, kind of like how Randy Orton did. Remember, he won it and then cashed it in at SummerSlam on Daniel Bryan. So maybe Sheamus can cash this thing in quickly. Maybe he can have an overnight run with the WWE title. I don't know. But with everybody that's in the WWE right now, in the main event picture, Sheamus just to me doesn't fit in. That doesn't mean I'm shitting on it. I don't have that big of a problem with it because, hey, it is a fresh face in the main event picture. Sheamus has been around. I know he's held a world title when there was 2 world titles. But if they're really going to, make him fight for the prize, that's elevating Sheamus, and it just gives you another guy that's not John Cena or not Roman Reigns. So I guess fans technically should be happy about that. Next couple of matches were, so-so. My girl Nikki, of course, retained her title, which if I did a prediction video, I would have said she would. I make this point a lot, and I say this a lot when it comes to title changes and switches and things like that. When Nikki Bella has held the title for as long as she has now, a couple of 100 days, she's been tweeting about it. WWE is making a big deal about it. And plus, they might want to take away that record that AJ Lee has. Doesn't she have some sort of record with the Divas title like she held it X amount of days? So maybe they want to hold that off and have Nikki break that record just to get that out of there, if it means something to them. Kind of like how they made Randy Orton world champion just so Brock Lesnar would no longer be the the youngest world champion. So I can see the WWE doing that. And on top of that, once you've had a title reign that lasts that long, whatever you do, make sure when you take the title off of Nikki Bella, it means something and it's memorable and it's on a big moment or a big stage or the build-up calls for it, not in just some random fucking match. Now, I know her and Paige have been doing stuff with each other on TV storyline, so it's not like it's just a thrown-together match. You know, I've been dying, all of us have, is to see Charlotte come up from the NXT roster to the main roster. So maybe with all the divas that are out there right now, most of which Nikki has feuded with and beaten, you know, in the last few months, you know, maybe a fresh face comes onto the scene and upends her for the title. They seem to like to do that. They brought Paige out. She won the belt on her first night. I'm not usually a fan of that stuff because when that happens, it's like, well, shit, where do you go from here now? Now you have to lose. There's nowhere to go but down. So I don't know if that's really the best idea. I'd rather have Charlotte be brought in and work her way up, you know, win a bunch of matches on Raw, maybe win a pay-per-view match, and then finally get a chance to challenge for the title and take it there. So I don't know. I would like to see Charlotte come up at some time, and that could be a fresh face for Nikki Bella to feud with. But whenever they take the belt off of her, I want to like it and enjoy it. And after she loses, I'll console her with some slow, passionate lovemaking. In what I knew would be my least favorite match on the card, I've taken shits prettier than this match. Ryback versus The Big Show. Just not a fan of two big, beefy guys. This is fucking Vince McMahon. He loves this shit. I just don't like seeing it because the spots, you just can't have like a good, exciting match. All the spots are way too planned and shit. They actually had a few good moments. Ryback, you know, I talk a lot of shit about him, but he can turn it on when he wants to. I've never denied that. I'm just really not a fan of, I don't know, the overall Ryback presentation, and I don't really have a good answer for you as to why I am not a fan. And I really don't like his finisher. I think the shell shock looks stupid, and it doesn't look like it hurts at all. I think it's a little bit more devastating than an AA, but not much more. And I think Ryback, for a guy as powerful as he is, I don't know, the move is not creative enough for me. It reminds me of Tatanka's End of the Trail or End of Days or whatever the fuck he called it. Kind of the same thing, almost like a Samoan drop. You know, Ryback, it's the same thing. It's just from the torture rack position. And to me, I don't know, he could do better. I thought for sure, I even tweeted, this is a direct quote, 1,000,000% Ryback wins this match. I was just certain that he just won the belt in the fucking Elimination Chamber. He's not going to drop it in his first title defense. What sense would that make at all? You know, to drop it to Big Show and a feud that doesn't make any sense at all. I just figured no way. But at the same time, this is the Big Show we're talking about. He is freshly back, and he's just not going to work one match with Ryback, get squashed, and be done. So they did the shitty fucking DQ where The Miz is out there flapping his fucking gums on commentary and then jumps in the match, and the whole thing ends in a disqualification. Big Show actually wins the match. Since this next pay-per-view, surprisingly, is a few more weeks away than usual, they can just knock a few of these matches out on Raw and SmackDown, and we'll be done with this feud by the time Battleground rolls around. In what I think was the best match on the show, although Rollins and Ambrose came damn fucking close, and we'll talk about that. But still, I got to give the best match on the show to John Cena and Kevin Owens. Incredible effort by both guys. I think this match was better than the match before. It just seemed a little grittier, you know, it seemed to go a little bit longer, it seemed to be a little bit more brutal. Guys even seemed to work a little harder in this match. I don't know, they just seemed a little bit more spent. And ton of near falls, ton of false finishes, lots of kickouts of finishers, which we've been seeing a lot of lately, but still doesn't take away from the incredible match and wonderful action that was going on. John Cena does get the victory, a clean victory, which if I was going to do a predictions video, I probably would have predicted him to win. I think it would have been cool if Kevin Owens won, because that could be great for storyline. He could come out there and he would not shut the fuck up about being 2-0. It's probably all he would talk about. He would just go on and on and on about how he beat John Cena 2 times, which means they would just have a third match and John Cena would finally beat him in the end. So one way or the other, John Cena is going to get a victory here. Now, there was multiple "this is awesome" chants. Those just don't all go away because you don't like who got the 3 count. In this situation, when you look at the match for itself, it was fucking awesome. And then the ending, you know, it was so funny. As soon as the match was over, I tweeted, Owens is not going anywhere. He is here to fucking stay after that performance. And where there's a second match, there's a third. And then as soon as I tweet that, they start having the stare down. John Cena, hey, I respect you. That was a great match, great effort. You've earned my respect. You deserve to be here. John Cena completely put him over. And sure enough, Owen kicks Cena, beats the fuck out of him. And I was like, see, there you go. There's your third match. I really, truly, honestly think this is different than maybe a Bray Wyatt, although I think Bray Wyatt is every bit as good as Kevin Owens. And I think this is definitely different than Rusev, because I think Kevin Owens is better than Rusev, and he's much more entertaining, and he's a better professional wrestler, and he's so fucking good. And it's not over yet. These guys have great chemistry together. Have you noticed that? I love their promos. I love their matches so far. This is fantastic shit. They could run for 6 months on what they're doing. This is by no means over. And I think we all need to just fucking open our eyes and understand and appreciate the role that John Cena is in now. This is what we have been wanting for the past 5 or so years. John Cena cannot go out there and lose every match. I swear to God, in the last 3 or 4 feuds he's been in, everybody that does not like him says in every single match, he has got to lose this match. You got to understand how short-sighted that is, and what a poor return on your investment. If you're the WWE, who has invested literally hundreds of millions of dollars on this guy, cramming him down our throats for 10 years, you're just going to end him in one feud? What a waste of fucking time and a waste of fucking money, and we got tortured for no reason at all. When you look at what John Cena is doing, he's mid-card, he's U.S. champion, he's nowhere near the world title right now, wrestling in the second or third match on every single pay-per-view, working with a fucking NXT guy no less, putting him over clean, and working a lengthy run with him. And to me, this is what they need to do with John Cena, because the WWE is not going to murder him. They're going to have him work with these guys, but still keep him John Cena. If John Cena can give these guys a victory or two, to me, at this point, it doesn't fucking matter where the feud goes, because Kevin Owens, no matter what happens from here on out, scored a clean victory on a pay-per-view against John Cena. You can count on one fucking hand the amount of guys that did that. So no matter what happens, and no matter how many more matches John Cena wins against Kevin Owens is made. He beat John Cena clean. Not many guys have done that, and he's one of the only guys to do that. And then when you look at his match tonight, it was one of those, it was better, than the match before. And he took Cena to the absolute limit, kicked out of fucking everything. Basically had the majority of the great offense in that match. He's very innovative. I just love watching him work. And to me, the WWE sees that. I can't believe that they do. I can't believe Vince is going for a guy like this who came from Ring of Honor, who just got there, signed less than a year ago. I mean, think of the faith they must have in this guy to not only have him beat Cena in his first encounter with him, but have another match with him on this pay-per-view that was spectacular. Kevin Owens, he does not sweat this big stage at all. He's like, fucking bring it on. I love that confidence in somebody that's like, you know what, WWE, you are not the end-all, be-all. There's a lot of great wrestlers out there that don't have to work under your fucked-up system. And he's going out there and basically spitting in the face of the company's face, on Monday Night Raw with some of his promos. This is just wonderful shit, and it ain't over yet. So I'm going to enjoy the feud. This is great shit, and I love this current opponent for John Cena. And what I would like to see him do is continue to do this. After this is over with Kevin Owens, John Cena does it with somebody else. Think about it. He's probably in the last 5 to 7 years of his career here, at least if he's going to be around for this much longer, and he'll probably have another run at the top, a short title run or something like that. I fully expect that, and I'm sure he'll work with other top guys. But in the meantime, when you think of his last 3 major feuds, he's been working with younger guys that are coming up, that are going to be on the roster years after he's gone, and he's giving them a rub. He's giving him a victory here or there, but he's still remaining John Cena, so he can go right on and do it with somebody else. This is not like Hogan and Earthquake and guys like that, where they would just feed Hogan one monster after another. These guys were not beating Hogan clean on other pay-per-views before the blow-off. Hogan was beating him every fucking time. I think this is a great role to have John Cena in, and a lot of fans that don't like him don't remember that they were saying this. These are some of the arguments that I heard years ago when John Cena was constantly on top. I mean, fuck, what'd they keep that belt on him for? Like 17 months or some shit? One time it was ridiculous. It's like, oh, John Cena should be putting people over and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, now that's what he's doing. He's out of the world title picture. He'll be semi-mid-card. He'll work with young guys. He'll win some. He'll lose some. But he'll remain John Cena. And he gives all these young guys an opportunity to work with him. That way, 10 years from now, they say, I worked with the great John Cena, and I actually beat him once or twice. So to me, this is not a bad thing. When you look at where Kevin Steen was 1 year ago to where Kevin Owens is right now, I don't think he's complaining. But all in all, wonderful match. Totally entertained by it, and I can't wait to see what they do at Battleground. It should be awesome. And for the record, I do hope he beats John Cena in the next encounter. I would have been fine if he beat John Cena in this encounter, because like I said, it would have been great for storyline purposes, especially when he went out there and bragged about how he's 2-0. So if he gets another victory over John Cena at this point, yeah, of course I'm rooting for him. Why wouldn't I? It makes sense. You know, the only thing I argue is that John Cena cannot lose every single match. If it was up to all of you, he would not only lose the first one, he would have lost tonight. And then when they do a third match, he's got to lose that one too. And if they do a fourth one, he's got to lose that one too. You know, at some point, you know, he cannot lose them all. So we'll see where it goes from here. But if you ask me, one clean loss versus one clean victory that he barely scored, you know, a match that took him to the absolute limit, about as far as he's ever been taken, I don't really see that as anything bad for Kevin Owens. I see that as wonderful things for Kevin Owens. And we'll see how the next match goes. Moving on. New tag team champions were crowned, which surprised me. Primetime Players versus New Day. And I don't even remember, was the referee Wyatt in this match? I'm actually curious. And on one hand, it's like, I'm happy for the Primetime Players. I love Darren Young. I'm proud of him standing up for what he believes and coming out to the world about his sexuality and stuff. And Titus O'Neil has always entertained me. The guy's a beast. These guys, I don't think, have won any titles yet in the WWE. They're pretty entertaining, very funny. I love their throwback Primetime Wrestling shirts. But as far as the title change, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about it. I don't really care. It just shows you that the tag team titles, what the fuck did they mean? I'm happy for the Primetime Players. I truly am. But it's like, you know, that match almost seemed like a filler match because it was right before the main event, I believe. And to see them win, I was kind of shocked. I thought they would run with New Day a little bit longer, but they decided to make the switch and go with the Primetime Players. And I'm sure they'll hold the belts for 4 weeks and lose them. So really don't have an opinion of it at all. I'm not upset by it, but I also don't care. Main event time, Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins ladder match for the WWE title. If I was going to do a predictions video, I would have predicted that Seth Rollins win this match straight up legit. With all the shit they've been doing on Raw, I did see the match that he had with his own security team, I believe, last week on Raw. A lot of bickering and infighting with the Authority, which seems like it's been going on for 6 months. The big storyline here is that Seth Rollins cannot retain his WWE title without help from someone else, so they made this whole match kind of centered around that. And as I've said before, I really don't see Dean Ambrose winning the WWE title right now, although I am thrilled that he's getting title matches because him and Seth have awesome kick-ass matches together. I really don't see him winning it, not after they launched Seth the way they did at WrestleMania. He's got to hold it for a little longer. Minimum SummerSlam, and if they even go longer than that, I'm fine with it. So I knew by hook or crook he was going to come out of this match on top, but I was thinking that he would do it legit. The match itself was good. There was a few spots that I really liked, a few spots that I didn't like, and that's one thing that's sad about wrestling today and ladder matches and table matches and shit like that. They did the thing where they put the ladder, you saw outside the ring, you know, they made a bridge with it, like laying on the apron and the announce table, and of course you know somebody's going to take a back bump on it. But isn't it sad that a bump like that, that's so brutal, has become commonplace? And when I saw it, I was like, yeah, it seemed planned. You kind of saw it coming. They set the thing up. You know somebody was going to fucking eat ass on that thing at some point. And then they set up where Seth Rollins charges Ambrose and he just backdrops him right over. You saw it. He telegraphed the shit out of it. I saw it coming yesterday. And to me, it's just a shame that it's become so common to see bumps like that. And they don't change. That's the thing. They don't change how bad they hurt. No matter how many times you see it, it doesn't hurt the wrestlers any less. So back in the day, to see someone take a bump like that, I remember the first time I think I saw that was WrestleMania 23. Somebody might have done it before, but that's the first time I remember, and that's when I think it was Edge laid on the ladder, and Hardy, I believe, jumped off, fucking Peter Panned off the top of the thing and landed on him. The ladder just bent in half, and you're wondering, how the fuck did Edge even live through that? You know, and so here they do similar bumps now in every single table match and every single ladder match, and it's just like, ugh, you know, these guys are killing themselves for a pretty decent round of applause, maybe some scattered "that was awesome" chants or "holy shit" chants, but after that, it's pretty much forgotten. Just a lot of wear and tear on these guys' bodies sometimes for no reason. You know, to me, spots like that, I just wish there were a few less, because if there were less of them, they would be more awesome when they happened. The rest of the match, however, was very good. I loved that they were brawling everywhere, all the way out into the crowd. You know, I think even at one point Seth Rollins left Dean Ambrose way back and by the fucking bathrooms and started hightailing his ass to the ring. If you ask me, I was laughing because Rollins and Ambrose were so far away from the ring. I mean, they were way back there brawling into the crowd. You know, Sheamus could have fucking come out there, when those guys are all the way back there and inserted himself into the ladder match and climbed up the fucking ladder uncontested and grabbed the WWE title. I'm like, why isn't he out there? Why is he not running out there right fucking now? But eventually both men find their way back into the ring, and a lot of brawling and great stuff. Maybe he's done this before, but when I saw it, I was just amazed. Ambrose took those running barricade power bombs from Seth Rollins out on the floor, which is pretty awesome. And then he got power bombed on the ladder that was covered with chairs, which that spot I liked. That was pretty badass. But it was just horribly brutal and wonderfully good. And like I briefly said earlier, my favorite part of the whole match was the finish. What took them so long to do a finish like this? Have we seen this before? Now, I'm not that schooled in independent wrestling in my older age, in my old school ways. I don't follow it the way I used to, so maybe finishes like this are done all the time in ladder matches around the world in smaller promotions, but as far as WWE goes, I've never seen them do this. Every time someone wins a ladder match, they're up there all by themselves. They either throw the guy off the ladder or they get the guy in a compromising position where they just cannot, get up the ladder to contest the other guy, and they're usually up there all alone. But for once, you have both guys hanging there, and they both have their hands on the belt, and then they fall as the belt is unhooked, and they land on the mat together simultaneously, and the impact of the fall jogs the belt free of Ambrose, and Rollins is able to grab it and roll away with it, which technically, I guess, means the winner. Now, I don't know if the rules have ever been explained about the ladder match. I guess would be the person to unhook the belt would be the winner. So I don't even remember. I kind of think they unhooked it together, or at least that's what they tried to do. And I thought they were going to go with some sort of a tie. I thought it was going to be, two referees, one claiming each guy won, and then you have to, maybe hold the belt up for a night and have the rematch tomorrow night in the main event of Raw to decide the new champion or something like that. But they actually awarded the match to Seth Rollins because he was the one holding the belt after it was all said and done. So finally they did something where, if you were going to have this match in real life, this was an actual shoot, and you really had to climb up the ladder, I can see where both guys would be up there and maybe they do yank it off at once and it just kind of ends with one guy getting lucky and holding on to it, So to me, I kind of prefer that. I loved the finish. I thought it was great and it was smart because just like Kevin Owens with his match with John Cena, Dean Ambrose has got nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, he put up a hell of a fight and he almost won. And the only reason he didn't win was because it's like a lucky fumble in a football game. Maybe the ground causes a fumble, the ball pops up, and in a freak act of nature, the ball just falls into some dumb shit's hand and he scores the winning touchdown or something like that. So all in all, in your two big matches, well, three actually, if you count Money in the Bank, which Sheamus won, and, even though that might not be everyone's favorite thing, to me, the way it was sounding from everyone, anybody but Roman Reigns was going to be fine, so that should be a positive then. And then between the way John Cena and Kevin Owens was booked, I know a lot of people were pissed that John Cena won, but hey, at least it wasn't a squash or anything like that. It was a fucking great match. Match of the year, maybe not, but a candidate for match of the year for sure. And then when you look at the main event, the finish like that, it was great. It was like everybody wins. So I thought for once the WWE was slightly smart because the pay-per-views come so rapidly and, they just can't move so fast. So they did things tonight to protect everybody where everything can just continue. And now we got 5 full weeks until Battleground finally, a normal pay-per-view schedule. And then after that, I believe it's SummerSlam. So we're not even going to be bombarded, with a pay-per-view every 2 weeks for a while. They've actually got some time to build. They got plenty of time to book and plan, build some of these matches, make them good, and give us a good random pay-per-view in the middle of July. Get everything set up nice and pretty for SummerSlam. Brock should be back by that point, so we got a lot of exciting things, hopefully, lying in store for us this summer. I have got to get out of here. I've had an extremely long day. Thank you so much for listening. Leave me all your thoughts about Money in the Bank. Bitch about John Cena if you feel like you must. I will try to be up here with a Raw review. Unfortunately, I'm just not sure. I think I will be, but if Raw for some reason sucks, and we don't get a whole lot of information on Battleground and really nothing is set in stone yet. I do know we have the Roman Reigns Bray Wyatt match incidentally, which I believe was announced tonight on Money in the Bank. So we already know that's happening, and now we have 5 weeks to do some awesome promos, hopefully, between the two of them. That's all that's set right now. I don't know if they'll announce Kevin Owens, John Cena tomorrow night. I don't know who Rollins will be working with. I don't know if it'll be Ambrose again or if he'll move on to someone else. So if any of those questions are answered and we get a decent show, for sure, I'll be up here with a Raw review. If not, I'll probably wait till the following week. So you guys have a great night. Enjoy Monday Night Raw. I will be live tweeting, as far as I know, as well. So if you want to chat with me on Twitter about Raw during Raw, feel free. And like I said, it'll be up in the air on whether or not I do a video. So I will catch you guys in a few days, or I'll catch you in a week. Until next time, peace.